and welcome. Today I am very excited to be taking a full look at the much anticipated Siren Blink. This is not only the biggest of the Siren blasters, but it is also the first to be an electric flywheel blaster. Now before we really dive into the Blink, I do want to say that NSI, the company behind Siren, did reach out and send me this blaster free of charge. But of course, my thoughts are my own. Let's jump right in. Now just like the other Siren blasters, if you haven't seen my videos on those, we do have these little clips that we're just going to pull off. It's pretty easy. You don't need any external tools to open this thing up, which I really appreciate. And here we have the presentation. Now, of course, in the box, we do get the Blink itself, the 20-round magazine, the rechargeable LiPo battery, our front and rear iron sights. We get eye protection, which is very important with a blaster that is so powerful. We get the USB-C charging cord. You do get 20 Siren darts, but these are not the same darts that come with the Mauler and Gnarl. Besides looking different aesthetically, these darts have a more traditional foam and holes in the back. I'm thinking that maybe this style of dart will work a bit better in a flywheel blaster. And of course, we get the instructions. Now let's get into the setup of the Blink. First off, we can attach our rear sight. We're just going to line up and push straight down until we hear a click. Then for the front sight, we're just going to slide this right on. And that looks pretty cool already. I'm sure this is very obvious to many of you, but of course to load the magazine, just follow the arrow and insert the darts. And 20 darts is definitely the max capacity. But of course you can use other Talon style magazines and the other Siren magazines. Now when it comes to installing the battery, if we look to the very back of the blaster, there is a Phillips type screw. So we're just gonna unscrew that, remove the battery cover, and before I install the battery, I just wanna say that you get a ton of space in this battery compartment, so keep that in mind. So first thing we're going to do is take the battery and start sliding it in. Once it's in all the way, we're just going to connect these cables. Starting off with the white, this is our charging cable. So we're just going to line that up and push. Then we're going to take our yellow connector, which is an XT60, and just plug it right in. Then of course we're just going to stick the cover right back on, put our screw back in. Then we have the charging of the blaster. To charge the blaster, we're going to take the included USB-C connector, plug it into this USB-C port right here, plug the other end into a wall brick or a computer, and as the blaster is charging, you have an LED right here that's going to be glowing red like this, and when the blaster is fully charged, that light is going to go off. As you're using the Siren Blink, once the battery gets low, there is another LED right here that will start showing green, and the blaster will automatically shut off until a recharge. Before we really go over the Siren Blink, something else that is very cool, if you experience a dart jam, this thing is designed not to burn itself up. So it is a pretty advanced blaster. That's a really great feature. Now let's go over the Siren Blink. Starting off, we do have a Picatinny style rail on top. On it, of course, I have that included front sight piece. On the left side of the blaster only, we do have a jam door. So if you do experience a jam, this can be lifted up. It's quite a decent size for clearing. There's plenty of room to remove a dart. Of course, right here we do have the grip. This is an electronic flywheel blaster, so we have the rev trigger right there. That'll get your motors running, and the main trigger. We also have the magazine release right here, which works very well. It's quite comfortable, and you can use it with either hand. If we look back here, this is one of my favorite features of the Blink. It's something that really sets the Blink apart. Right here we have two dials, power and speed. The power dial also works as your on and off switch, but when the blaster is on, power will regulate your FPS and speed will regulate your rate of fire. That is just really, really cool. Having full control over the power and rate of fire is not something that we've gotten on an on-shelf blaster. To turn on the Siren Blink, we're just going to take the power dial and turn it a bit to the right. When the blaster is on, we'll see a green LED right there. If the battery needs a recharge, this LED will start blinking. Now that the blaster is on, I can demonstrate that you do have full pre-rev capabilities. So quick swapping to another magazine is super easy. I can audibly demonstrate the differences in the speed and power level. If I take power and turn it all the way down, and take speed and turn it all the way down, this is how the blaster sounds. But let's say I turn the speed all the way up. Then the blaster sounds like this. And similarly, if we take the power switch, start it off on the lowest level, the blaster sounds like that. But if we dial it to the most powerful level, you can definitely hear the difference. For this chronograph test, we will of course be using the included Siren darts, and because the Siren Blink has variable power, our first 6 shots will be fired in the low power setting, and the next 6 shots will be fired in the highest power setting. So we're just gonna turn this on. We are on the lowest power setting. 122, 127, 132, 128, 127, and 128. That's pretty great performance for a low power setting. Pretty perfect for something like HVZ. Now we're gonna turn the power all the way up. 177, 179, 181, 183, 181, and duplicate 181. In the high powered setting with the included darts, we are hitting easily at around 180 feet per second. I think making this the highest performing off-shelf flywheel blaster. I am very satisfied with that performance. Great stuff. But now let's fire Dart Zone Rubies out of a Dart Zone magazine. Okay, first we're gonna do it on the lowest power level. 153, duplicate 153, 151, 149, and 152. It'll totally work with the darts and magazines that you already have. And that was super consistent, solid performance. Really happy with that. Now let's turn it up to the max power level. 184, 186, 185, 183, 187, and 189. Again, I am very happy with that performance. It is quite impressive. Now let's fire some shots downrange, starting with the remaining included darts. This is the lowest power and lowest speed. And here is the highest power and highest speed. Performance is very solid, the rate of fire is great, and that grouping was pretty tight. Also, this is the 5-round magazine from the Siren Gnarl, and I think it looks totally hilarious in this blaster, but in kind of a cool way. Those are some incredible distances and quite a nice grouping for a flywheel blaster. So what are my final thoughts on the Siren Blink? Overall, I am absolutely satisfied with this blaster. I think it is simply fantastic. Part of me would have really liked a stock, but I can definitely appreciate how compact this blaster is. And I forgot to mention earlier, this blaster does balance out about where the grip is. So dual wielding would be super easy. This blaster is very comfortable to use. My favorite part of the blaster is definitely the ability to change up the power and speed. So not only can you change your rate of fire depending on your situation, but you can also change your FPS depending on game type. The trigger response is super snappy, the power is definitely there, and the full auto is great, whether you're using it in the fastest or slowest mode. The tolerances are all great. The cross compatibility is great. I really appreciate the shorter trigger pull. It's something that I wish more blasters featured. Overall, I think if you're looking for a pro grade full auto flywheel blaster, in my opinion, the Blink is actually the best one that we have on the market right now. It's not only the most powerful off-the-shelf flywheeler, but it's also the first off-shelf flywheel blaster to feature a power and speed regulation dial. The price for this blaster is also very reasonable, especially considering that you get a rechargeable battery. I can definitely get behind the Siren Blink, and I give it a full recommendation. This is truly a really great blaster, one of my favorite flywheel blasters of the year for sure, and if you are interested in the Siren Blink, I will have the link in my description. Thank you very much for watching. I'd love to hear what you think of the new Siren Blink. Have a good one, subscribe for more, and happy blasting.